Handbook for Mankind. Case number 62. Get started. Now we come to the connection between the training in concentration and the training in insight. The Buddha once said that when the mind is concentrated, it is in a position to see all things as they really are. When the mind is concentrated and fit for work, it will know all things in their true nature. It is a strange thing. It is a strange thing that the answer to any problem a person is trying to solve is usually already present. Though concealed in his very own mind, he is not aware of it because it is still only subconscious, and as long as he is set on solving the problem, the solution will not come simply because his mind at that time is not in a fit condition for solving problems. If when setting about any mental work, a person develops right concentration, that is, if he renders his mind fit for work, the solution to his problem will come to light of its own accord. The moment the mind has become concentrated, the answer will just fall into place. But should the solution still fail to come, there exists another method for directing the mind to the examination of the problem, namely the practice of concentrated introspection, referred to as the training in insight. On the day of his enlightenment, the Buddha attained insight into the law of conditional origination. That is, he came to perceive the true nature of things, or the what is what, and the sequence in which they arise as a result of being concentrated in the way we have just described. The Buddha has related the story in detail, but essentially it amounts to this. As soon as his mind was well concentrated, it was in a position to examine the problem. It is just when the mind is quiet and cool, in a state of well-being, undisturbed, well concentrated and fresh, that some solution to a persistent problem to arrive at. Insight is always dependent on concentration, though we may perhaps never have noticed the fact. Actually, the Buddha demonstrated an association even more intimate than it is between concentration and insight. He pointed out that concentration is indispensable for insight, and insight indispensable for concentration at a higher intensity than occurs naturally, requires the present, the present of understanding of the present, the presence of understanding of certain characteristics of the mind. One must know in just which way the mind has to be controlled in order that concentration may be induced. So the more insight a person has, the higher degree of concentration he will he will capable of. Likewise, an increase in concentration results in a corresponding increase in insight. Either one of the two factors promotes the other. Insight implies an obscure vision and consequently disenchantment and boredom. It results in a backing away from all the things one has formerly been madly infatuated with. If one has insight, yet still goes rushing after things, madly craving for them, grasping at and clinging on to them, being infatuated with them, then it cannot be insight in the Buddhist sense. This stopping short and backing away is, of course, not a physical action. One doesn't actually pick things up and throw them away or smash them to pieces. No, does one go running off to live in the forest? This is not what is meant. Here we are referring specifically to a mentor stopping short and backing away, as a result of which the mind ceases to be a slave to things and becomes a free mind instead. This is what it is like when desire for things has given way to disenchantment. It isn't a matter of going and committing suicide or going off to live as a hermit in the forest or setting fire to everything. Outwardly, one is as usual, behaving quite normally with respect to things. Inwardly, however, there is a difference. The mind is independent, free, no longer slave to things. This is the virtue of insight. The Buddha called this effort deliverance, escape from slavery to things. In particular, the things we like. Actually, we are enslaved by the things we dislike too. We are enslaved insofar as we cannot help disliking them and are unable to remain unmoved by them. In disliking things, we are being active. We are being active. We are becoming emotional about them. They manage to control us, just as do the things we like, affecting each of us in a different way. So the expression slavery to things refers to the reactions of liking and disliking. All this shows that we can escape from slavery to things and become free by means of insight. The Buddha summed up this principle very briefly by saying, insight is the means by which we can purify ourselves. He did not specify morality or concentration as the means by which we could purify ourselves, but insight, which enables us to escape, which liberates us from things. Not free from things, one is impure, tainted, infatuated, passionate. One's free, one's pure, spotless, enlightened, tranquil, omniscient. This is the fruit of insight. The condition that results when insight has done is shot completely. Have a good look at this factor. Insight, the third aspect of the threefold train. Get to know it, and you will come to regard it as the highest virtue. Buddhist insight is insight that results in backing away from things by completely destroying the four kinds of attachment. Those four attachments are ropes holding us fast. Insight is the knife that can cut those bonds and set us free. With the four attachments gone, there is nothing left to bind us fast to things. With these three modes of practice, then the rest are the test. Are they solid, bed, and suitable for all in practice? To examine them, when you have another look at them, you will see that these three factors do not conflict with any religious doctrine at all. Assuming that the religion in question really aims at remedia, remedia, remedying the remedying the problem of human suffering. The Buddhist teaching does not conflict with any other religion, yet it has some things that no other religion has. In particular, it has the practice of insight, which is the superlative technique for eliminating the four attachments. It liberates the mind, rendering it independent and incapable of becoming bound. Becoming bound, enslaved, overpowered by anything whatsoever, including God in heaven, spirits, or celestial beings. No other religion is prepared to let the individual free himself completely, or be entirely self-reliant. We must be fully aware of this principle of self-reliance, which is a key feature of Buddhism. As soon as we see that Buddhism has everything that any other religion has, and also several things that none of them have, we realize that Buddhism is for everyone. Buddhism is the universal religion. It can be put into practice by everyone in every age and era. People everywhere have the same problem: to free themselves from suffering. Suffering which is inherent in birth, aging, pain, and death. Suffering which stems from desire, from grasping. Everyone without exception, celestial being, human being, or beast, has this same problem, and everyone had the same job to do, namely to eliminate completely the desire. The unskillful grasping, which is the root cause of that suffering. Thus, Buddhism is the universal religion. Thus, Buddhism is the universal religion. The things we cling to. What are we clinging to? What is our handhold? What we are clinging to is the world itself. In Buddhism, the word world has a broader connotation than it has in ordinary uses. It refers to all things, to the totality. It does not refer to human beings, or celestial beings, or gods, or beasts, or the denizens of hell, or demons, or hungry goats, or titans, or any particular real, realm, realm of existence at all. What the word world refers to here is the whole of taking together. To know the word is difficult because certain levels of the word are concealed. Most of us are familiar with only the outermost layer or level. The level of relative truth, the level corresponding to the intellect of the average man. For this reason, Buddhism teaches us about the world at various levels. The Buddha had a method of instruction based on a division of the world into a material or physical aspect and non-material or mental aspect. He further divided up the mental world and mind into 4 parts. Counting the physical and the mental together makes a total of 5 components, called by the Buddha the 5 aggregates, which together go to make up the world. In particular, living creatures and human himself. In looking at the world, we shall concentrate on the world of living creatures. In particular man, because it is man that happens to be the problem. In man, these 5 components are all present together. His physical body is the material aggregate. His mental aspect is divisible into 4 aggregates, which we shall now describe. The first of the mental aggregates is feeling. Which is of 3 kinds, namely pressure, or gratification, displeasure or suffering, and a neutral high, which is neither pleasure or which is neither pleasure nor displeasure, but which is a kind of feeling nevertheless. Under normal conditions, feelings are always present in us. Every day we are filled with feelings. The Buddha then pointed out feeling as one of the components which together to go to make up the man. The second component of mind is perception. This is the process of becoming aware, similar to waking up as opposed to being sound, asleep or unconscious or dead. It refers to memory as well as awareness of sense impressions, covering both the primary sensation resulting from contact with an object by way of eye, ear, nose, tongue, or body, and the recall of previous impressions. Thus, one may be directly aware of an object as black or white, long or short, man or beast, and so on. Or one may be similarly aware in retrospect by way of memory. The mental aggregate is the actively thinking component. Some in an individual thinking of doing something, thinking of saying something, good thought and bad thought, view thinking, active thinking. This is the third mental aggregate. The fourth component of mind is consciousness. Vinyana. This is the function of knowing the objects perceived by way of eye, ear, nose, tongue, and the general body scene, and also by way of the mind itself. These five aggregates These five aggregates constitute the site of four kinds of clinging explained in the fourth chapter. Turn back and read it again and think it over so that you understand it properly. You will then realize that it is these five aggregates that are the object and whole for our grasping and clinging. A person may grasp at any one of these groups as being a self according to the extent of his ignorance. For instance, a boy who carelessly bumps into a door and hurts himself feels he has to give the door a kick in order to relieve his anger and pain. In other words, he is grasping at a purely material object, namely the door, which is nothing but wood. As being a self, this is attachment at the lowest level of them. A man who becomes angry with his body to the point of striking it or hitting himself on the head is grasping, clinging in the same way he is taking those body parts to be self. If he is rather more intelligent than that, he may cite on feeling or perception or active thinking or consciousness at any one of these groups as being a self. If he is unable to distinguish them individually, he may grasp at the whole lot collectively as being a self. That is, take all five groups together to be his self. After the physical body, the group next most likely to be clung to as being a self is a feeling pleasurable, painful, and neutral. Let us consider consider the situation in which we find ourselves entranced with sensual pleasures. In particular, delectable sensations caught up heart and soul in the various colors and shapes, sound, sense, taste, and tactile objects that we perceive. Here, feeling is the pleasure and delight experience, and it is to that very feeling of pleasure and delight that we cling. Almost everyone clings to feeling as being a self, because there is no one who does not like delightful sensations, especially tactile sensations by way of the skin. Ignorance or delusion blinds a person to all else. He sees only the delightful object and grasps at it as being a self. He regards that object as mine. Feeling whether of pleasure is this pleasure. This truly a sign of suffering. Spiritually speaking, these feelings of pleasure may be considered as a synonymous with suffering, because they give rise to nothing but mental torment. Pleasure renders the mind buoyant. This pleasure deflates it, gain and loss, happiness and sorrow amount in effect to mental restlessness or instability. They set the mind spinning. This is what is meant by grasping at feeling as being a self. We should all do well to have a closer look at this process of grasping a feeling as being a self, as being ours, and try to gain a proper understanding of it. Understanding feeling as an object of clinging, the mind will be rendered independent of it. Feeling normally has control over the mind, luring us into situations that we regret later on. In this practical part to perfection or arahantship, the Buddha teaches us repeatedly to give the particular attention to the examination of feeling. Many have become arahants and broken free from suffering by means of restricting feeling to simply an object of study. ดีว่าถึงน่า70 until page 70. Have a good night. น่าจะ10แค่นั้นจาก136นี่คือการอ่านรอบที่2รอบที่2 Have a good night.